My name is Paul Merlucky, and I'm a virtual reality enthusiast and the designer of the Rift.
It's an amazing technology, and it really has the potential to be a lot more.
I think that virtual reality can bring a lot of value. The promise of VR is it's to make the world as you want it. Now that is what human beings do, is we bend the world to our will.
Oh my God, this is so fast. Holy shit. Oh no!
The world of virtual reality has been growing slowly but steadily. From video games to virtual tours to having your entire workspace in your headset, VR technology has been improving at an astounding rate. But one of the most popular VR games out there is fueling a genre that has been lying dormant for the past couple of years. That's right. Today, we're talking about a game that is picking up the mantle from games like DDR, Guitar Hero, and OS, and ushering in a new generation of rhythm game players. This is Beat Saber. Beat Saber is a VR rhythm game created by a pair of Czech programmers, Jan Ilavsky and Vladimir Hrinkar. Much like Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and DDR, Beat Saber is, as we said, a rhythm game, but one developed with virtual reality in mind. So rather than pressing buttons or strumming riffs on a guitar-shaped controller, you use two virtual lightsabers to slice through cubes on beat. Think Tap Tap Revolution meets Fruit Ninja. The pair released a demo of what they had been working on Facebook, and it was immediately noticed by another Czech tech mogul, Jaroslav Beck. In an interview with TechCrunch, Beck describes how, quote, "I was so skeptical, but then I saw the teaser that these two had put out, and it was like something had unlocked in my head." Beck reached out to the two programmers, and they soon joined forces to make Beat Saber into a full game. But more than just being a business partner, Beck was involved directly with the game's development. And Beat Saber's initial soundtrack was produced personally by the game's CEO. Seriously, this guy can do it all. A former DJ, Beck took charge in creating songs with great melodies, awesome synths, and most importantly, trunk-thumping drums, which, when paired with the graphics and gameplay, made for a very compelling rhythm game. So let's talk about gameplay for a bit. It's hard to overstate how important it is to have satisfying gameplay in a rhythm game. In a genre where playing the same songs over and over again can get pretty repetitive, making sure that the small things are tactile and visually pleasing is vital to a game's longevity. Thankfully, Beat Saber has both of these in spades. Being immersed in a VR headset means that every cube coming your way feels like it has weight behind it. The two lightsabers you're swinging do some serious damage when they hit on beat, and cleaving through cubes to the beat of pulsating electronic music in a dark, almost nightclub atmosphere feels good even after several hours of playing. I mean, it's basically being in a mosh pit in Berlin. Beat Saber entered early access in November of 2018, and immediately started to get some attention. Throughout early access, Beat Saber was steadily growing in popularity. Within 6 months, by March 2019, the game had been downloaded more than 1 million times, and when the game finally released on May 19th, it became the single highest rated game on Steam in less than a week. According to Beck, much of the game's success is due to its two head programmers, Jan and Vladimir, who, quote, built the type of game they wanted to play without ever worrying about building a commercial hit. Fortunately, in the process, they did make a commercial hit. And part of the success is Beat Saber's focus on really good music. Much like how Guitar Hero 3 introduced a generation of players to rock and roll, Beck was adamant that Beat Saber's catalog of music appealed to everyone. In fact, he was so dedicated to ensuring the quality of the game's soundtrack that in July 2019, he stepped down from his position as CEO of the company to, quote, push music boundaries in the future, and he took to Twitter to say, quote, "I'm stepping down from the post CEO, so I can fully focus on our music roadmap and future opportunities." To this effect, in June 2019, the company partnered with Imagine Dragons to release an exclusive music pack available for purchase. With this collaboration, it was clear that Beat Saber was going to be sticking around for a long time. By working directly with artists to clear existing songs and secure exclusive tracks, Beat Saber offers numerous official maps from a wide range of different artists. Over the past few years, the company has partnered with everyone from Billie Eilish to Green Day to Timbaland, many of whom created new music specifically for the game. Heck, even BTS has their own music pack, featuring bangers like Mic Drop and DNA. Needless to say, we stan Beat Saber. With the success of the game, the small Czech company was now on everyone's radar. In November of 2019, Beat Studios was acquired by Facebook. Now, usually, acquisitions of this size don't bode well for smaller game companies. Big corporations are usually looking for any way they can make money, often at the expense of the fun of a game. Thankfully, Facebook's involvement with Beat Saber only seemed to bolster the game's success, and in the coming months, they were able to secure even more partnerships and artists from all over the world. However, not everyone loves the mainstream collaborations with top 40 artists. Or maybe they are, but aren't willing or able to pay $13 for a 7-song pack. Whatever the reason, Beat Saber has another thing that has propelled it to the moon: mods. The Beat Saber modding group, or BSMG, is the primary hub for everything Beat Saber. Want to download maps to your favorite songs? BSMG. Want to make your own maps? BSMG. Want to do things with Beat Saber you never thought even imaginable? BSMG. In this way, Beat Saber has gone a direction very similar to us. Rather than being forced to wait weeks for Beat Studios to update the game or drop a new pack of songs, users have access to pretty much anything they can dream of. From techno, to death metal, to anime intros. But modding and mapping communities like this usually exist on the peripheries of the game. They have their own little hub where they can tinker with the game and create their own content, but because they're not making money for the company, they aren't really promoted by the dev team. But Beat Saber is a little bit different than most companies. Like a basketball scout who can spot talent from a mile away, Beck understood that community mappers were pushing new ground in exactly the right direction. So, he did what talent scouts are supposed to do. He invited them to practice with the team.
Mappers like Benny the Beast understood what made the game fun in the first place,
and was always looking for new ways to be creative within a relatively simple premise. Since the game is intrinsically connected to one's physical movements, the flow of the maps is a huge factor in deciding whether it's good or not. Sure, for most electronic music, AI could pretty easily generate maps and quantize percussion, but it's very difficult for an AI to take into consideration the natural movement of the human body. What this means is that Beat Saber isn't just a drumming simulator where the goal is to be a human metronome, but also a dance game. Mappers like Benny, who did Lindy Hop for 7 years, were adamant that moving your body to the rhythm and cutting blocks in a flow state is really what makes Beat Saber, and that good maps can make or break a person's experience. So, Benny was brought onto the team and helped to produce some of the most memorable maps in Beat Saber history. So, with all this in mind, I'm sure many of you are probably wondering, with access to so much free community content, who in their right mind would actually pay for songs? The answer might surprise you. As of February 2021, less than 2 years since the game's official release, Beat Saber had sold 4 million copies of the game itself and 40 million songs to go along with that. Yep, that's right, 40 million. If we're to estimate that at about $1 a song, the conclusion is that's a lot of money. The game, it seemed, was fully mainstream, appearing on late-night talk shows where it was played by the likes of Jimmy Fallon and Brie Larson. But why is Beat Saber the most popular game in VR? One would expect that in a world of virtual reality, which literally has the word reality in it, games that reflect the real world would be at the forefront. But rhythm games have kind of started taking over, with titles like Audica, Pistol Whip, Synth Riders, and Ragnarok trying to put their own spin on VR rhythm games. Why this is exactly, we'll leave up to your speculation. So what about Beat Saber's longevity? Guitar Hero and Rock Band were huge fads in the late 2000s, but now you find guitars and drum sets almost exclusively at garage sales and Salvation Armies. So how can Beat Saber avoid the same fate? To start with, the game has a variety of different modes that can drastically change the gameplay. The most notable example of this is 360 mode, in which notes come at you from every imaginable angle, and you have to spin, 180, and pirouette to hit them all. The game also has robust multiplayer capabilities, allowing players to go head-to-head online and compete for high scores. Then there's sliders, which add an extra layer of dynamism by introducing new elements which change the way you need to slice in order to hit a note. There's regular sliders, slinky sliders, diagonal dots, and tons more, all of which affect the movement of your body. Modders can also change song speed, cube size, and tons of visual aspects to tailor-make the experience of every single song, meaning that players are constantly inventing and innovating new ways to keep the game fresh. So finally, what's next for Beat Saber? Well, how about a dedicated esports league?
Only a few seconds left on the clock. Can Canada take this back for the United States?
What started out as small competitions here and there has expanded into the Beat Saber League. A non-profit league which facilitates competition around the world, BSL is the hub for Beat Saber players looking to take their game to the next level and play against other people in real time. With regional qualifiers in Europe and North America, BSL is where the best of the best compete against each other. With this in mind, it's no surprise that there's also a Beat Saber World Cup, a team-based competition where the best players from each country come together to battle it out. A similar format to the OS World Cup, rather than have 1 or 2 representatives playing every single map, each country has a large roster of players and can send people out based on which map is being played. From there, 4 players per team battle simultaneously, and whichever team ends up with the highest score wins. On top of this, the maps being played are really difficult. And to say the least, this is one of the most fun events of the year and the pinnacle of Beat Saber esports competition. Beat Saber is a truly unique game. It pioneered the now exploding VR rhythm game genre. The team's dedication to ensuring a top quality product, even 4 years after the game's initial release, is a breath of fresh air. And the budding esports scene is bringing in competitors from all backgrounds to push the boundaries of what is possible in Beat Saber. Obviously, one of the biggest limitations to playing Beat Saber is the act of purchasing a VR setup for your home. But as the technology progresses and headsets become more affordable, maybe you'll be swinging along to the beat sometime in the near future. What are your thoughts on Beat Saber? Are rhythm games back and here to stay? Or is this just a passing fad and we'll all go back to playing monkey tag next week? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. My name's Jonah. See you next time. This video is made possible thanks to our wonderful patrons. Massive thank you to everyone on this list, and shout out to Brendan, Cloud, QB, Foxy, Mauve, Pachana, Shampoo, Spartacus, and Yashichi for being platinum supporters, and an extra special shout out to Marco for being our diamond supporter. Happy November! If you want to talk to us, check out our Discord. Or if you want to support our channel and get info on unreleased videos, check out our Patreon. If you want to help us out in a different way, leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell to stay up to date is also appreciated. My name is Jonah. Thanks for watching.